how to interpret the data. We're going to use the same data that we got. Now, I just want to make you see something. This graph, this one, and this one, all of them are basically the same graph because they have the same information. It's just that they have a slightly difference that I want to talk about. The one that I showed you in the first video, in the video from how to make the graph, I told you that the best one is you only marking the points, the data that you got, just like with math, you would have coordinates. Because this one, sorry, if you think this one is the one that actually represents the data as you have. Some of you in the previous class made or tried to make graph like this, in which you connected the dots with lines. And well, I didn't see anyone that wouldn't put the dots. Now, what is the difference between this? It's not that it is incorrect. It's just that you, while making these connections, just like this one right here, so if you make a zoom right here, when you make a connection like this, you're assuming that the data is behaving like that. You don't know for a fact if, imagine at 3 meters, this is what the download speed is going to be. You don't know that. This is why connecting them sometimes is overestimating your information, because you're assuming that, yes, clearly you say, no, it cannot be here. That's why it behaves as a group. But this is why it is important for you to be as clear that you understand that not showing anything here is because you don't have information. You never measure at 3 meters in my case, or you never measured at 2.2 meters, so you don't know. This would be like a prediction, but this is why, in order to interpret the data, the best way to do it is not using this type of graph, but making the trend. And as I told you how you do it, it shows you basically what would be the pattern. The idea behind interpreting data is getting the information from the graph. And how you do that, and this is why I have here the first hint, is that you always go from the general to the specific idea. If you think about it, what is the general idea? That it is an effect of distance on the Wi-Fi signal. This is why the variables are these ones. So from this example, can you see a general idea? Is there a pattern, a general pattern? In this case, no, because even though these ones are closely related, this one is not. So what do you do in this case? The general idea is that there is not one pattern, and you actually write it. You say there is not one clear effect of distance on Wi-Fi signal. Okay, now the second hint, and this is why it is important that when you make your interpretation, you use the name of the variables, and not only these ones, but anything that is connected. Any other variable that you did. So there is no effect of distance and the speed of download. General, now you go to specifics, so you can start talking about each one of them. You don't have to talk about all of them, but if each one of them is different, it is worth you telling us what happened. So in this case, you can say, look, there is not one pattern, so there is not a general effect of distance on the Wi-Fi signal, but we can see that from the two directions, 2 of them follow the same pattern. Which is the pattern? So you try to specify what is the information. In this case, that there is no effect. If you think about it, this is stable. It's not increasing or decreasing, which leads us to the third hint, and is use keywords like increase, decrease, it is stable, it varies. Clearly, these last 2 words, they're not that common because you only have 3 data, but if you would have 10 and all of them are different, then you could use it varies. If all of them are the same, you can say it's stable or it's the same. But it is important that you try to give it a direction. So these ones, they don't have an effect. And then you can talk about the one that is different. Okay, this one actually it is increasing. So it is important that you imagine, and this is why the trend and what we were talking about, it is so important, because the trend gives you an idea of what's going to happen. Like if you would imagine what would happen at 10 meters, which we don't have, but what would imagine, because of this trend line, you can predict that it would be somewhere around here. Just like if it would be this one, you would predict that at 10 it would actually be here. Now, why you cannot say it? Why you want to say, look, direction B at 8 meters could actually be more download speed? Why you cannot say that? Because again, all of this is connected to what you're doing, and it doesn't make sense that it would be more than 50, because if you know the 50 is the top, because it's that what I'm paying, well, clearly cannot be. So what I want you to do when you get to that, and this is why it's the fourth hint, is that all the information, you try to be specific and clear with what you're talking. Always mention it. Direction C, direction B, direction A, increases, all of them. And if you want, try to play with the numbers so you see what would be a different. And actually think about what was the expected outcome. What did you expect? The more distance, that the download speed would be the same. If it would be my case and by my experience, I would imagine, let's take this blue one, which is direction A. I would say that it actually decreases. So I would expect that at 6 meters from the Wi-Fi, I would actually have something like this. Now you can see the pattern. So this is what you expect. So always imagine what would go here, what would go here, and try to follow these hints. General to specific, name the variables, use keywords, and be specific and concise.